My name is Sergia Louise Anderson, and we are going to be doing the Lupit Instagram live interviews with Raz the Diva. I know you know who she is, and if you don't, you do need to know who she is. So we're going to get the party started over here. We tried it over on the Lupit page. It did not work, but we are going to get it going here on my page. For those of you guys who are just starting out pole, be sure to check out the link in my bio. There is a free class there for you if you are pole interested and want to see where to begin your journey. There's a free training, as well as those of you who are not at the beginning of your training, but you're well along and you're working on performance and competition. I do have a free training there for you titled How to Create Compelling Performances Every Single Time. So without further ado, let's bring on Raz. We have a lot to chat about. She is an East Coast based pole dancer, instructor, educator extraordinaire, and I have been looking for Raz. Go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'm going ahead and bring her on now. And we will get started with Raz. Hello.
What's up, Serge? How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, and shout out to everybody out there too. Welcome to my humble abode here in New York City.
I love it. You still up in Brooklyn?
I am. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Crown Heights specifically. And paying too much damn money for rent.
Hey, baby, you know what? New York, California connection. I got you there. I can relate.
Yes. Yes.
It's that coastal living. They're going to try to kill us.
Oh, Jesus. It's going to kill all of us.
Oh, man. Well, I wanted to first start out with just a little kind of brief story of how you came into pole and how you made it into the educator that you are today, and also what you're focusing on these days. So let's just start out your journey getting into pole.
So I started pole 15 years ago now, in October 2007.
Woo!
And I have been, somehow my shoulders are still alive and my back hasn't completely left the picture. But I've had a great time dancing. I've been teaching for the last 12 years, and that's also been great. And I teach pole. Right now, I'm not teaching any classes weekly, but I am traveling and hustling and doing workshops. Actually, last night around 1:30 a.m., I just got home from a week in Boise, Idaho, and Salt Lake City, Utah. So kind of can't believe that this is my life sometimes, but it's awesome. And, you know, I was one of those people that loved pole at first. It was love at first sight with me. So I tried it. It was the hardest thing that I'd ever done physically. And but it's kind of a miracle that I'm still here. But I'm so glad that I'm still here. And Sergi, I'm trying to think the first time we met. I think, was it when I remember one of the first times watching you dance was when you did, I think it was a USPDF routine with a balloon.
Yes. Okay. Yes. The balloon routine was 2013 US Pole Championships in Vegas. But I had come to New York in 2012 to compete in USPDF. That was my first competition with the white outfits. The boom shaklak routine, as everyone knows it. The boom shaklak routine.
Yeah, right? And I remember you stayed on my couch, and I was so excited to have you, and I didn't realize, like, I knew you were a cool kid on the block, but I didn't realize how cool you were. And the fact that I hosted, like, a pole champion or potential pole champion on my couch at home was like, holy shit balls.
I had a great time with you. That was super fun. We got to have our Brooklyn weekend together, you know?
Yeah. Yes, it was hot as hell that weekend too. I remember we're in the middle of a heat wave. My AC was only halfway working. You were a trooper.
Well, you know, I had lived in New York before. I had moved away from New York in 2008, but I had lived in Brooklyn myself. I had lived in New York until 2008. I knew what those summers were like, and you know.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, that's my pole origin story.
Yeah, well, tell me. Okay, so you just got back from Okay, tell me what you just taught in Boise, Idaho, and in Utah. Tell me what you were working on, what you were teaching, what you were sharing, and then where you're going next.
Sure. So I was teaching, I have 4 workshops that I kind of or I'm sorry, 5 workshops that I cycle through. So 4 of them are on the pole, 1 of them is off the pole. So the off the pole workshop is fitness fundamentals, and this gets into my personal training experience where we go over basic things like squats and lunges and push-ups and crunches and do a little stretching as well. And it's literally is exactly as it sounds. It was all about like the fundamentals of fitness that you don't always go through. Like it's assumed that everyone knows how to squat and assumed people know how to do stuff, but that's not how it goes. So that's the off the pole. The on the pole workshops, I did one is about spins on static pole. Then I have another workshop about building your confidence, which was inspired a lot by finding your freestyle, for anybody who's familiar with Tracy Kafer and the movement that she started. So that's about fine. That's one's less technical. And then I have another technical workshop, and that is Inverts 101. So it's for anybody who's trying to get their ass over their head. And then last but not least, I've got coaching plus size dancers, which is probably the most popular workshop that I teach. And that workshop is all about how instructors and friends of plus size pole dancers can support plus size pole dancers better. And I'm excited and I'm proud of this one that people are excited about it because it's such a necessary topic. It's what I'm known for in pole, and it's what's needed. And the more education that you can have as an instructor, the better instructor you're going to be. So I'm excited that I can provide some of that education for everybody. And I'm also, next up is PoleCon. Will I see you there?
No, I'm still grounded, mother raising the 3.5-year-old. So I'm not doing any traveling or touring at the current moment, but I know I'll get back out there probably in the next few years.
Oh yeah, we would love to see you again. So I'll be at PoleCon, which is going to be held just outside Baltimore this year. We'll be rocking there, and I'll be doing. Let me see if I can remember everything. I've curated a Dangerous Curves, which is the plus size pole dancing showcase, and then there's also a panel discussion about plus size pole dancers. That's available to people as well. Then I'm teaching my coaching plus size workshop. I'm doing a 3-hour intensive on the Thursday, the first day of PoleCon. And then last but not least, I believe I'm teaching Inverts 101, but one of us needs to double check what's the 4th big thing I'm doing at PoleCon. But PoleCon is it's a fun time. It's exhausting, but it's awesome and it's great. I love supporting Colleen. I love the support that I get from everybody, and it's just nice to be able to teach students from a whole slayage of studios. So, and then after PoleCon, in July, I'm going to Minnesota and also going to Wisconsin. And then after that, potentially Indiana in August. And then I'll be staying in New York in September, as I've got 3 weddings to go to. And then we'll see what October and November bring.
Oh, that is amazing. It is so awesome and encouraging to hear pole dance educators getting back out there after the craziness that was the pandemic and everything was so shut down. It's so awesome to hear that people are moving and shaking and spreading education again. So thank you for being out there. It is not easy to be touring artists. I know, I did it for 6 years. So, you know, way to hustle. Thank you for taking that for the team and just like really spreading all of your information. So there's two things that I want to talk about, and I don't want you to give, obviously these are huge conversations, such huge conversations that you teach 3-hour intensives on them. But there is a plus size polar watching right now who is at the beginning of their journey. Do you have a couple of just juicy little nuggets that you can give them as far as advice?
Yes. So first, I want to give a shout out to my mom because I see she joined on Instagram. So
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. And shout out to a few other people who've also said hello. So, but going back to the topic, the first thing I would say to new plus size dancers is that it is going to take you a lot longer to achieve a lot of the same tricks and skills that your slender counterparts are going to get. If it took my slender friends 3 or 4 months to get something, it might take me 2 years to get that same thing. And that's something I wish I had known when I began pole, because it would have saved me so many tears. It would have saved me so much anxiety and sadness and thinking that I was a failure because it took me so long to do everything. It would have, but I didn't know that. And there's no way I could have known that had I not had all these years of teaching and being a student and to look back on that data and to realize. So one, give yourself a fuck ton of time, all the time that's needed. Number 2 is definitely don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. So if your instructor shows you how to do something and you're like, hey, my boobs are in the way, or my stomach's in the way, or if there's some part of your body that's in the way, I definitely want you to challenge your instructor to find different ways of connecting with you as a student. So that way you can also learn, and they'll also grow as an instructor because they'll have experience working with different kinds of bodies. And the last tip I can tell people is to surround yourself virtually with people who look like you. There are a lot of plus size pole dancers, just like there's a lot of plus size athletes. So you might be one of maybe like 3 or 4 in your studio, but if you broaden your horizons and look for plus size pole dancers, you could easily find 300 or 400 without trying very hard. So just a quickie recap of what I just mentioned. Absolutely take your time, get ready to take your time. Number 2, advocate for yourself. Don't stop asking questions. And even if your instructor doesn't have the immediate answers, they should be curious enough to find the answers. And then the third point would be, oh shit, what is
Finding the community, I think, right?
Oh, yes, thank you. The third point is drowning yourself virtually in other people who look like you, because there's a lot of us out there. Thank you for that assist, Sergia.
Welcome. I love that. Okay, so now those are for the plus size pole dancers who are out there getting started on their journey. What about again, you teach full-on intensives about these things. So we're just going to this, surface level. I know there's so much so much deeper to dig. For the instructors who are wanting to have the knowledge to support plus size pole dancers and to teach plus size pole dancers, what are those first couple steps that they can take apart from attending your training?
Yes. So I think as an instructor, I want people to be curious about working with different kinds of bodies, and not from the voyeuristic type of curious, but curious as in you want to find answers. You want to know, if you move this foot to the left, what's going to happen? If you move that foot to the right, what's going to happen. I want you to not be afraid to test things out and to see what happens when you do those things. You know, doing this safely, of course. And the more education that you can get, the better. Because a lot of the spotting and coaching techniques that I teach in my training, I've learned from the other sports that I've participated in or other things that I've coached, or really the biggest thing is other people who've I've taken class from. So the different kinds of education that you can get, it's only going to make you a stronger, sharper, smarter student. So we absolutely want to rock with that. I would also say ask questions. Don't be afraid if you don't know all the answers right now. Like, as much as I would love to say, I know how to get every plus sizer to invert on their own, I don't. I think I'm pretty close, or the closest that anybody's come, but I am certainly not, I don't have all those immediate answers to those big questions. So, but what I want is somebody, again, who is curious about how can we make this happen and teach us from that point of curiosity. And that's going to compel you to learn and to do all kinds of different things and to test different things out. And it's going to give your students motivation to keep trying and to keep learning, because they're going to be a part of the process with you.
I love that so much. You know, just something, you know, being okay with not having those answers and admitting
Yes.
that, you know, I don't have an answer for you right now, but I am going to try to find some answers. I'm going to test some things. We're going to try some things. I'm going to go get some education. I'm going to talk to some people that I know. Right. So yeah, you know, I think that every pole teacher stepping into that role, that is your responsibility to teach the bodies and the souls that are in front of you, every one of them unique. Right. And
Yes.
to take that time to be curious about it. And it's okay, even though you're the instructor and you think everyone thinks you should know everything, it's okay to say, I'm not sure. Let's figure this out. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I see we got a comment down here. The marriage of two of you in dialogue is so inspiring. I'm a plus size dancer that loves the encouragement Raz offers, but I also love Sergia's fluidity. And sometimes I get you. Wait, hold on. There we go.
Unattainable.
Yeah, it's definitely a match, and I understand how things can feel unattainable, because almost every time I'm the biggest person in class, even as the teacher. And certainly as a student, I spent most of my life feeling like moves were unattainable and feeling like I was the only one who looked and moved like me. But I was really fortunate because I had such a good pole squad that they never let me like sink into my own despair for very long. They'll let me bitch and moan, and then when I was done with that, they're like, cool, it's your turn, try it again. And I'm so thankful for that. And I do think there absolutely needs to be more marriages between plus size and straight size education and instruction, so that way it's not this like super special thing that only the cool kids have this kind of education, but it's really everybody.
I love that. Yes, Perry Fragments, thanks so much for sharing that. You know, it's, you know, it's so wonderful, because I think such a huge part of this, as Roz has expressed, is community, right? So really making sure that you are surrounded by the right community to achieve the things that you want to achieve, right? Roz says she's so lucky that she had a squad. She had a group of people that she was learning with that really supported her and pushed her, you know. And I think that, you know, if you're ever in a situation in pole where things are not feeling right in your community, there are so many pole communities out there. You can find yourself a new community. Shop around. Don't be afraid to shop around. you know, until you feel like you have the support that you're looking for your personal journey. So again, like as Roz saying, you know, there's many times that she felt alone in her, you know, in her process. And the key is to remember to climb out of there and find your people, build your squad, find your community, whether it be online, whether it needs to be an hour away, whether it needs to be like Zoom sessions online with, you know, Zoom jams with buddies that live across the country, but find your tribe, you know?
Absolutely. I could not agree more than what you're saying. Is it's going to take effort, and for some people it might take a little more effort than not, and that sucks because it's not your fault that, you know, if the squad around you just isn't the right squad for you. But again, I don't want people giving up before they've even tried. That's what matters to me. That's what's important to me.
Yeah, and everyone's journey looks so different. I've never even met any pole dancer that's journey has just looked just like this with somebody else's.
Ooh.
So, you know,
Ooh.
yeah, it's just all over the place. And it's to remember it's, you know, your journey is going to be so uniquely yours. And sure, that's so frustrating sometimes because you're like, fuck, can't anyone be on this trip with me? The answer is no. But
yeah,
find people who can cheer you on as you go up and down while they go up and down too. Do you know what I mean? And
absolutely, yes. Yeah, finding people that are cool with you going up and down is so important. Finding people that are excited about you going up and down is also equally super important. And that's what it matters so much. And I think one of the ways to find those people is to be that person, is to be the person that's chilling, I'm sorry, that's not chilling. Be the person who's cheering on someone else and who's being that support for other people, because that will come back to you in spades.
absolutely. Yeah. Being a part of a community means giving too, you know, giving, bringing your education to the table and then receiving that support back as well. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of a studio in Philly off the top of my brain right now. Can you, Roz? But I know there's many.
Yeah, Awakenings. I've taught there before, and they've got a great space. They've got, I've done my plus size workshop there, so if that's something that's important to this new polar, then we've got that. We've got that available. But yeah, Awakenings, that's where I would start. I forgot if it's like Awakenings Pole Studio, just Google Awakenings Pole Studio Philly and see what happened.
Cool. I'm going to scroll back to look at if there's any more questions that we really want to make sure we don't miss today, because this has been lovely. Y'all, if you don't follow Roz on the virtuals, like on Instagram, you are so missing out. Roz is a huge part of my mental health throughout the month.
I'm just saying, this is not a lie. It is not a lie.
You bring me to tears so often with your posts. Roz, you should come to Santa Rosa. One of my students said, please, when you come to Santa Rosa, Roz.
Is that in Northern California?
Yeah. Oh, it's a big trip. You're pretty far from there. We'll have to catch you when you're on your way over or making your way back.
Yeah, listen, I'm down for the cause. So how I actually might actually be a good thing is, how do you get me to your studio is have your studio manager or the studio owner or whoever's making the decisions, have them reach out to me. The best thing to do, my email, I think, is in my bio, or should be if it's not, but send me a message, hit me up, and let's make this happen. Right now, I'm trying to prioritize places that I haven't been before, and one of my goals is to teach in all 50 states.
Amazing.
And I have to do an updated count. I think I'm at 34 states.
Oh, yes.
So far. So if there's anybody out there from Wyoming, West Virginia, Alabama, Arizona, New Mexico, Where else? Indiana. Where else have I not been? Montana. Let me know. And I would love to come out there. Darcy, I see you. No, I have not been to Arizona yet. So if you have a suggestion as to where I should go, let me know, because that sounds like a great place to go in the dead of winter. Because I need to get out of New York winters. I'm gonna turn into a snowbird. So, but even if you're not in one of those places that I just mentioned, if it's a studio that I haven't been to, or someplace near you just want me to come hang out, I will 100% come and do that. So just have your studio manager or an owner reach out to me and we'll make it happen. Right now, my next availability for traveling is probably going to be October and November. And then I usually chill out for December. So.
Awesome.
Yay.
That bucket list, everyone. Talk to your studio owners and studio managers. Let's get Raz to your state. We're trying to hit all 50.
Exactly.
And Raz, is there anything that you offer, even though you are traveling around, you're doing a lot of live trainings, is there anything that you offer that someone who can't meet you at one of these places can learn from you?
Yes. So the best place is to hang out with me on Patreon.
Okay.
And so if you go to patreon.com/Raz the Diva, and these links are in my bio, then you can join my Patreon, which is like a virtual subscription box. And each month, what you receive is you have access to all these poll videos that I've recorded that are specifically about working with plus size dancers. And there's also regular fitness tutorials there. So if you too would like to learn how to squat properly so you can live your best life, that's on there. Total, I want to say there's about 35, 40 videos, and they vary in length from 2 minutes all the way up until 30 minutes. There's also some voice notes that I like to leave for everyone about what I'm thinking or what I'm talking about so far in what I'm thinking about or talk about in therapy or just what's on my brain. And then we also do every Tuesday evening or evening in New York time at 7 p.m. at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern, we do a core and stretch class virtually. So that's over Zoom. So that is anybody who wants to, it's low impact. And we do some movements and then we stretch. And we do movements, then we do more stretch. And the movements are core centric. And just as a follow-up, so for the person who had a question about Philly pole dancers, thank you, Mom, for double checking this. The Philly studio is called Awakenings Pole Fitness Studio.
Your mom got your back. I love this.
Listen, I have to say, like, I am spoiled because the origins of Team Diva are Mom, Dad, Grammy, and my sister Lindsay. They have been the first people to cheer me on, and they'll be the last ones quiet. So I really am lucky that I've never had to hide pole for my family, and it's never been like the creeper. And I mean, I've been the weirdo in the family, but every family's gonna have that. So, but I'm really fortunate that I have a lot of support.
Love that. Adabe Dance says, I've been loving the Patreon so far.
Yes.
So there you go. I also have a question here. Mature dancers. What I think she's probably asking Cheryl K. Jordan is, does Raz work with all ages? And the answer is yes.
The answer is absolutely yes. I'm 38 right now, and I can name polers into their 60s. And I have quite a few friends that are 50 plus or that are almost 50, and they're rocking this thing. So I'm a big fan of mature, older pole dancers. And just like with plus size bodies, if your body is a little bit older than these average, Gen Zers out there, don't worry. You do not have to do the wild, crazy ass tricks in one day. We will get you there. If you trust us, if you trust yourself, you take your time, you will be floored with what you'll be able to accomplish at any age. And especially for anybody in a woman's body who is doing the pole dancing, it's going to be amazing strength training for you, and it's going to help to keep your joints and your bones nice and healthy. So I thoroughly encourage people of all ages, especially on the older end of the spectrum, come and rock with us anytime.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Raz. This has been awesome. Have a wonderful time at PoleCon. Give hugs to everyone. I know these back in person is like just so glorious to be able to, you know, all come together and in person again after what the last few years has been. So keep rocking, keep hustling, everyone. No matter if you can see Raz in person at one of her workshops or PoleCon, fantastic. Next best thing, if you're super far away and you don't have access to her live, join that Patreon so that you can get access to her. Pick her brain. She is a wealth of knowledge. Hello, Misha, and thank you, everyone. Cheryl, K. Jordan, strength is power and esteem building. I love it. We have had such a great time hanging out with you all. And Raz, we will see you soon.
Yes, take care, Sergia.
Bye.
Good to see everybody. Bye.